Jaime back from Inky and Scrappy. I mean, it's happy Valentine's Day because obviously it's the 14th of February today if you're watching when this one airs. I thought I'd maybe go a little bit sweet but a little bit grunge and steampunky all at the same time. I'm all over the place. It's kind of where I normally am. But I thought it would be fun to bring in the Rusts and Revs. This is the original one. I'm going to bring in some of the version 2.0 for some smaller patterns. This one is currently on sale on Office Supplies. I think it's called officesupply.com. They're like, I don't know, not too bad for a 12 by 12. So I want to say it's like $5 maybe it's $7 for the whole pack. But if you like 49 and Market paper, they have a whole bunch of their 12 by 12 stuff on deep discounts. It's hard to find, I'm not gonna lie. I think if you put 49 and Market in the search bar, it might bring up a little bit more, but their older stuff is the stuff that's on sale. So I picked up, of course, the original Rust and Revs pack because I adore the second Rust and Revs pack, but I thought it would be fun to kind of throw in some of these with, you know, some LawnFawn. So I think maybe I'll do this one and kind of like hit a corner over here with it. We'll see. This one will be like my background, so we're not going to see a whole lot of that one anyways. And then we're going to bring in some smaller pieces for kind of my background piece. So for this one, I'm going to be bringing in my favorite things, Dienamics blueprints. I know my favorite things isn't around anymore, but really all you need is, you can do most of this with your cutter and or a scissors. I don't think we're using the circle today, so we're using the flagged die. We're going to use this one. I'm going to use this one because I have it, but if you don't have it, you don't need it. You can definitely just cut all of these pieces out with a paper cutter and use like your corner round, or get a corner rounder and round the corners with them. But I'll add in those two little pieces just for like some side detail and all the things. But I'm going to bring in LawnFawn's A Mole Lot of Love stamp set. So I finally got to play with this one with my niece, so none of it's on camera. It was fun and awesome, and I need to play off camera a little bit more sometimes, I think. But so to get started, let's kind of pick out what we're gonna go. Ooh, there's some gorgeous plaids in here. Anyways, as I get distracted by plaids, because that's how I roll. Ooh, I like that one too. But I thought it'd be fun to kind of bring in the steampunk vibe, because when I think of, you know, like the little mole digging, I think of, you know, fieldwork, shovels, like mechanical things, right? Things that we do in our daily life to kind of make things work and all of the things. Do I want the rust? I kind of like the rust. It's kind of cute. Oh, so many good options. Okay, we'll go with the really rusty one. I think that'll go well with this one. I'm thinking we'll probably pull a corner off of this, which kind of, my brother does infrastructure work, so to me the digging and the map infrastructure wise really kind of pulls together well. And let's see, what else did I need? And then I'll just probably pull some of the smaller pieces for some background. This we could definitely stamp, you know, if I die cut some of this, I can definitely stamp that as the actual, like, where my sentiment is going to go on this one, I think, and we'll go from there. At least that's where my mind went. I may have possibly no comment, picked up the Spellbinders scrapbook.com exclusive Platinum Scout. This one's minier, so it will fit on my desk a little bit better for you to see how I do my die cut sandwiches. I think the tray is about 3.5, so it won't cut the big rectangle, but it'll cut the smaller ones. And so if you're not sure if you want to go the big route yet, this one is a great option for you. It comes with, it's on scrapbook.com. It was, look for it on a really good sale. I picked it up for under, I think it was about 60. Maybe it was under 60. It was the only reason I picked it up, because it was so stinking cheap. But I like that it's a little bit bigger than the Tim Holtz mini one. And so a lot more stuff will go through this one, at least card making wise. It's going to work really well for me. So I'm going to cut my big piece of paper down so I can get the rest of the other pieces cut before I get too far. Okay, so I cut it in half, 6 inches, because this way I have, you know, a little, it's going to go through my big die cut machine a lot better. But I also have a few options and I can kind of play with it. But of course, sparing the little motorcycle on the back because that's adorable and I will use it for something else 100%. So I have my main piece cut out here. I'm going to cut this one down so we can run this one through there. Do I want it to go this way? I think we're going to go this way with this one, and this one is just going to fit on the Scout platform, which is kind of nice. So let's see, do I want to cut it in half and then we'll cut it the other way. So this way needs to be about 4.5 inches. So I'm just going to cut this one. I don't think that's 4.5. Is it really? 4 1/4-ish. So we'll cut it at 4 1/4 and then can cut it this way at 3.5-ish, so it can run through the die cut machine here. So I'm just gonna pop this on there. 3.5 is the width, you know, that's your max width. So I'm trying to make sure that I stay within there with my die cut. And so this one, it comes with the platform, and then I think there's a B plate. So you have the A, which is your base, the B plate, which is your top form, which makes your cutting dies work. And then of course it has, mine came with a free magic mat from scrapbook.com, which works as like your other cutting mat. This way it just saves me from buying more of these. I can get away with 1 C plate instead of 2 C plates, because your magic mat kind of cuts down, or you know, is technically your second C plate. I'll just run that one through quick. And then I can pop that one out. Leave that one. And then I think my piece here is big enough. I wish my desk was clean. It would make my life a lot easier. We all know this is not going to happen. This is how I roll. I think I saved enough room here that I can, I'm just going to tear this so I can get it to run through. I'm thinking this back piece here, or this little scrap piece, will work well for my little sentiment strip here. And I'm going to cut it out pre-sentiment adding to it, because that's how I'm going to roll. And then this one, I'm going to still use that little scrap there, and I'm going to run this little tab piece through. This is totally extra. You don't need it, but I like all the extra little pieces. I think they're fun. It's like, you know, adding stickers though with paper, kind of, sort of. You could definitely use stickers or embellishments in this way. So we'll run those through, pop this one out, and this one, and then I should be able to set this one off to the side. I should be done with it. And we have all of our pieces. So I'm still finding these at Dollar General. They actually have some teal ones. If that's your thing, I might be on the search for all the teal ones. Yeah, they don't have any more at my local one. It is what it is. Oh, I'm not done yet. I still have to cut out my background piece. Silly girl. Not my background piece, my other piece. So we have that one, that one. I forgot to cut out this one, which we're gonna stamp on today. So I do all the things and I forget to do all the things. No, I do all the things and then I feel like I'm rushing because I don't want you to have to deal with me putting things away. All right, let's try this one more time. That one's not going to work. That on, this one on. So we are going to run this one through. If you can run it through at an angle, it's going to be better on your die cutting machine and on your dies. It doesn't, how do I put this? So if it hits the flat, you know, the bulk of it, the flat, you could definitely run it through straight on this side, but you're still going to hear that big crunch when you get to the end. So to kind of avoid that, it puts less pressure on your plates on the inside of your die cut machine, and it'll last longer ultimately. Plus your dies won't get that curling effect to them. I have a lot of them that have that curling effect just because sometimes that's just how you cut them, but it'll kind of help save that a little bit. Oops. Oh, well. I guess I could store it folded out, but it works well this way. So this is some Express It blending cardstock today, and I'll set my stencils off to the side. I'm going to bring in my platform for this one, and we're gonna set this one in here. Now I have my design already kind of figured out in my head, so I'm gonna use the little guy, the little mole with the shovel. I think he's adorable. I mean, in real life, I think moles are kind of cute. The one with the glasses always gets me because he's adorable as well. But I'm going to put him here so he's doing his shoveling thing. Do I want to put a worm on here? Of course I want to put a worm on here. I could do worm or flower or a clump of dirt. I think we're going to do the little worm. I think he's cute too. And come on, let go of my finger, please. Thank you. So we're gonna pick these up with my mat. Hope that they don't stick too bad to my actual piece of paper. Make sure I have it lined up where I want it. And we will come in with a alcohol marker friendly. I'm going to use the Lisa Horton Cloud 9 Solid Black. This has been my favorite for new stamping. If you're going to do some alcohol marker coloring, it has not had to get heat set. It works pretty quick. I will say that I feel like I need a double stamp with this one. It does not stamp as dark and crisp as some of my past ones have, but I like it overall on a whole, especially if you're using a platform. It's not a huge deal. And then once I have that one in, I'm gonna grab this little cute heart here, and I'm gonna put my sentiment. I guess I could have stamped the heart right away, but sometimes finding the placement is more, I don't know, I don't want to say more efficient. It's not more efficient. More, I don't know. You get it exactly where you want sometimes better if you don't do it all in one. Sometimes you can't get it as close because of how the stamp lays out. But sometimes it's just a matter of, I like seeing where things are laid out before I stamp. And so we're going to hit that one twice. And then I'm going to remove this one. I wipe it with, this is like a, I think they're called like a glass wipe. They don't have any fuzz on them. It doesn't have a microfiber feel to it, if you know what I mean by the microfiber feel. It's more of like a cloth feel, but it doesn't leave any fuzz behind, so I like that. And then for this one, I think we're gonna go with the I Really Dig You. I like worm hugs on this one. Makes me laugh as well. If you know my aversion to hugging people that I don't know all that well, worm hugs is kind of, it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, isn't it? Because worm hugs kind of reminds me of a little bit more get creeping on Halloween Jaime than Let's Start Stamping series, Jaime. Just saying. Can't help that's where my mind goes. That's where my mind goes. Anyway, so I have the I Really Dig You inside my little heart speech bubble there, and then we can pull this one out of the stamp platform. I'll pretend to clean my stamp good for you. Now I want to make a card that has worm hugs and a graveyard. Oh, bugger. Okay, anyway, so we have this one. I want to do a little bit of stenciling on this one. Now my colors on this one, there's no green. It's a lot of browns, so a little bit of blues. There's maybe a little bit of green, but I'm thinking I can go with color palette wise because of that rust. I think I can go with like an olive color, or maybe even, do I want to, I'm trying to decide if I want to do, I think we'll do the clouds on this one. So I'm going to come in with Stormy Sky for this one, and my blending brush. Remember, dye brush, dye ink. If you're using an oxide, make sure your oxide ones don't go into your dye, like your brushes don't go into your dye ink pads, because you will ruin your dye ink pads if you do it that way. Just, you know, just a nice gentle reminder. Sometimes we forget those, you know, little things. I'm trying to place my clouds in a way that I can kind of get them on there without actually masking my mole. Also, not dipping back into my ink pad is going to help on this one, because I don't need that much color. I just want to add a little bit of background here. And we'll kind of do this one here. So I'm going to hit mostly the sides. I'll kind of get a little bit here. I'm not worried about the dye ink when it comes to my alcohol markers. Oxides are a little bit different. They're not as forgiving on the marker part. So just keep that in mind. If that's something that you know, only have oxides, then you're probably going to want to mask this, which basically means you have to cut them on like sticky paper or on, I'm trying to think of what's the other one that I want, masking paper. Post-it notes work. I like the full back post-it notes. They work really well for that sort of thing. Just remember, you can keep your mask for other things. You don't have to use them once and throw them away. You can definitely put them in with your stamp set, so you have that option. So for this one, I just want to make sure that I'm kind of getting a hill on here. I think my hill up here is going to be bigger than my hill down here. I just want to hit and kind of give me a straight line to kind of come in later and hit with a marker. So it just has a little bit of color, if that makes sense to you. It'll look, well, I don't know where the brown came from. My finger, obviously, but I don't know where on my finger. We'll cover that with bling later. It's all good. Okay, so for this one, let's grab, I think I put all my markers away. Let me find my markers and I'll be right back. Okay, so for my colors, I'm going to go with E340, which is, the new number is E513, and then E533, which is chestnut brown, and the new color is E515, and then I'm going to bring in hazelnuts, which is E288, but in the new color, that one I think is in the 60 pack. So that one is 288 is E47. For my mole tones, or my mole colors, for my dirt, I'm going to use E558 and E357. Can't talk today either. So 357 is E511 in the new number, and E357, oh, I did that one. E558 is E612, so it'll be those two that I think will give me a dark and light contrast. For my reds, I'm going to go with the coral red, which is R586, which is the new RO15. And then my pink for my worm is RV390. It's probably one of my favorite pinks, to be honest. I mean, if we're going the lighter tones, right? Which is R38 in the new colors. And then for my gray, I'm going with BG069, which is going to kind of go with my clouds because it's a blue-gray. In the new numbers, it's B411, but you could definitely go with like a CG10 or a WG10, which is BG042 or BG038 in the old number system. So those will work. And then for my grass, I didn't grab, let's grab that one quick before I forget. We're going to go with the YG015 and the new number, which is G554 in the old numbers. So I have all of my colors. So let's start with the mold. I'm going to start with my darkest color and just kind of hit where I think would be darker. A lot of times darker is going to be where a body part connects, like where your arm connects, where your leg connects. Those sorts of things is kind of where I figure my darkest tones are. The other thing is going to be wherever there's overlapping. So along the shovel is probably going to give you a drop shadow there. And then under the chin, usually, if you want to give his little head some definition, or his neck some definition coming up and in there. And you can totally do it with one color and be done and not be extra. That's fine too. And then I'm just going to take my lighter tone, which is still fairly dark, and kind of come along there and bring that in. Making sure to go over the area that I colored the first time. Just going to help blend it, especially if you have a little bit more of a color contrast than I have on this one. I'm going to do the same thing here. And I do want that head to be a little bit lighter on the top. It's going to dry back a little bit, so it's not going to look quite as dark when it's all dry. I'm going to go over this a second time, making sure that I go all the way to the edge on this one. And then for this one, I'm going to come back in with this one and kind of do a second layer. I'm not going to do the whole thing a second layer, just kind of where I want it to be a little bit darker. So once I'm happy with that one, I'm going to come in with my lighter tone and add in his little paws. Are they called paws on moles, or are they called shovels? Because don't they use their little paws today? They're kind of like a shovel. And I'm going to color the whole area this time, and then if I want, I can go back in with a second layer to make maybe a little bit darker where I think it needs a little bit more of a shadow on it. And I think we're good there. I didn't pull out a second yellow or a second green or brown for the shovel handle. I'm just going to pull in one of my browns from my dirt, just for the two little spots that might be dirt. You could definitely do that one in color if you want. I don't remember which one's the darker of the two. I think this one is the 3 is the darker. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to kind of come in on the bottom. I think it's going to be darker dirt towards the bottom, kind of like the bottom of a footprint, where the dirt might have pits. I'll add a little bit more, and then I'm going to come in with that lighter brown in tone and kind of go over that whole area again. And do the same with this one. And we have those done. Let's see. I really dig you. So I need the pink. So I'm going to give him a little pink nose, and then of course I need to color my pink worm. And yes, my little pink worm has his head in the clouds. So am I worried about it? No, not at all. I am going to color that second little ring a little bit darker on my worm, just to kind of give it some contrast, but you can go along the inside edge here a couple of times to darken that a little bit if you want. And then of course for my heart up top, I'm going to come in with the red. I just want to add in that pop of color. I guess this one would have been pretty in like a rusty orange color too. It would go with my paper maybe a little bit better. The red will definitely stick out. And so once I have that colored around the outside, I'm just going to come in and color the whole thing again, going over the parts that I've already colored. This will give that second generation of color, so you're layering translucent on top of translucent, so it's going to get darker the more ink layers you go on top. And so I kind of have a lighter area in the middle, darker on the outside. Now for my shovel handle, I kind of want to go, I'm on the fence between the pink and the red, but I'm going to go with the red just to bring in a little bit more of color on here, because his nose has got that little pink nose, so you have to go with the worm. Okay, and then we'll bring in the gray for my shovel, and we're just going to do this one with one marker. And I'm going to do kind of like where it hits the dirt, I'm going to go with my first layer of color, let it dry a little bit, come back in with my second layer, going over the whole shovel again. This is going to give you that tone on tone, two colors, so it's darker in the area. One marker, 2 to 3 tones, you're going to get some color variation there. Now for my hill, to bring this one in, I'm going to bring in a colorless blender, but I'm also going to use my marker. I'm actually going to use the colorless blender for this one, and I'm not going to touch this marker on my paper. I want to kind of fade this one out. So I'm going to do a 1, 2, 3. It's probably like a 5-second touch because I didn't start counting right away. But I'm going to kind of follow the line. So I'm just going to follow that line that I made with my stencil earlier. And it's going to slowly fade out, of course, as I go. So just kind of coming back with that marker, doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I can hit that line again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3. I just want to pull it down a little bit. I don't want the color to go all the way to the bottom. And I'm just going over it with, I mean, there's no color left in my marker, to be fair. It's just going to kind of, I need to clean out the tip. It's going to also help blend it a little bit better if I just kind of keep going over it. But it's also going to keep pushing it through, so you're going to see the green is going to like push through a little bit more, which is fine. And you can definitely hit this with just a blending brush and a tone of ink that's going to be close. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just going to come in with an olivey green color and just add a little bit onto the bottom so it's not all white. This way I don't have to worry about making my little colored images green, but it still kind of brings that color all the way down. And so there we have our little scene panel all ready to get added to the card. So let me clean up my desk. So my card base, and let's do the inside sentiment before I get too far. So I like you a lot, or you are my soil mate. would work well with this one. I think we're gonna go this one. Do I want to do a little mole in the corner? Oh, the options. I think we're gonna do this little guy. Popping his head up down here. Okay, and bring this one back in. I think we're lined up okay there. Oh, well, okay, we were lined up okay there. Hazards of a mask. Okay, let's try this again. And I'm gonna bring in a brown tone on this one just because, I don't know, it reminds me of dirt. So I'm going to use the VersaMark Vintage Sepia. It's my favorite brown for sentiments. At least it has been the last couple of years. I think I used to have VersaMark Ground Espresso or Espresso, which I like that one too, but it's a lot darker brown than this one. So I'll set that off to the side. We have our sentiment on the inside. We can fold this one up. Now at this point we can add extra distressing if we want to. We don't have to. I think I want to come in with a little bit of brown. So I'm going to bring in, oh, decision. So I'm going to bring in Walnut stain for this one, just regular distressed ink, just my blending brush. And I'm going to hit just around the outsides. It's going to distress it a little bit, kind of make it go with that paper that kind of has that distress feel to it a little bit more. And because I didn't fold right, we're just gonna pop it open so I don't get the inside on the bottom here. And paper side. And then we're gonna do that to all of our other pieces that kind of are gonna go on the front of our card. Kind of just makes it, I don't know, matchy-matchy, cohesive. That one will come in with this one and add a little bit of that distressed brown to the outside. I don't want to go in too far with this one because I don't really want to hit my images. I kind of just want to add that little tinge of distress to the outside. And if you didn't have the green ink, you could definitely hit it with the brown a little further up to meet your hill. And maybe that will hide my little brown fingerprint up above there. That one's done, that one's done. And we have this one and this one. So this one I'm just going to add a little bit around here. I don't know if we really need to add it on this one, but we'll add a little bit. I guess there's a couple of lighter spots that can get a little grungy. And on this one's darker. I think we're gonna have to hit it just a little bit harder to see it. And yes, you could definitely skip this step, but I always think it adds such a fun distressed look to things. Alrighty. I'm just gonna put a little water and just delete my work surface so I don't get brown everywhere. Wipe my hands. Don't worry, I'll still get brown everywhere. Okay, so now we're just gonna add our layers on top. Oh, that one's not working currently. Let's try this one. Which somebody who will remain nameless, it might be me, left it not covered. So opening it with a rust, it's a rust proof pin, stainless steel pin. can get them in the sewing section. Mine currently have little stars, but I did find, I was cleaning, I did find some that had button looking things on the top, which are kind of fun. Ooh, I want to go this way. I want my map to be on the bottom because I think that's gonna show a little bit more on this one. I'm gonna kind of cover up the other with my other layers. So I wanted, ooh, I like that side too. Oh, the decisions. Just me trying to use pretty paper. I abandon paper sometimes because it's pretty and I don't want to use it. You know, what if I have a better project for it later on and I used it on something stupid? I mean, that's just, you know. So this one I'm going to actually line it up with this piece just because I want to see a little bit more of that orange on the top, but I also want to kind of bring it down a little bit without making it overly obvious because I don't want this to be all open territory. So it kind of covers up a little bit more of that. Now this one we need a sentiment on yet, and this one I'll probably pop a word of some sort on it, and we can pop that underneath here, maybe. I think we might even go here with it. We'll see. Okay, so I need sentiments on those yet. I don't know what I want to do for my sentiment on the front. I suppose I could do You're in My Soil, mate. I almost think I have to go with an ink on this one. I really dig you. Let's see. You're the one for me. It's easy to see. I could do Worm Hugs on that one. It's kind of little though. Let's see what my other option is on the other one here. Oh, Popping By to Say. I think we'll do that one. Popping By to Say instead of the You're My Soil Mate. It sounds like you just soiled yourself. Shh, I did not say that out loud. Okay, Popping By to Say. I think we'll pop that one on there. I still have not found a white ink that I adore. We've had this discussion. I will let you know if I ever find one that I love. They just, I don't know, all are lacking. I think it's I don't like the foam ink pads. They're like, are squishy. This is just me venting to vent. They're like squishy. And the ones that aren't squishy just don't, I don't know. They don't hold enough white ink. They're not opaque enough. I think that's the word I'm looking for. They're just not quite opaque enough to make it work. Now, I want to do embossing on this one. I did ink the edges, so if you're going to do this, I would suggest coming in with an anti-static powder tool. This is going to help prevent that still probably wet ink from sticking or letting your embossing powder stick on it. So that's, you know, what we do. VersaMark watercolor ink, which is really, they make different ones for this, right? So you have VersaMark is a good one. It's probably my favorite for this one. I know there's like, Arranger has an embossing one. Hero Arts has a just for embossing one. I don't know. I think they all work pretty similarly. You could definitely use, my favorite for white-ish inking is actually Lost Shadow, which is a really light gray. That one actually works okay. It kind of gives you I mean, it gives you a better white than the actual white does, so there's that. Let's see. Just gonna bring in my little scooper. I'm avoiding the areas that I didn't, if you can see, that I didn't actually get my powder on, because I'm pretty sure it would stick pretty good there. And I'm gonna warm that up a little bit, hit it from the back side first. I always feel it kind of come on. I always feel when you hit it from the back side, it kind of like sticks the powder to the paper before you hit it from the front side, especially if you waited a little bit of time in between your stamping and or your embossing. It might help a little bit. Just a tip. It's less likely to go flying everywhere. So popping up to say, I think we'll go there with it. I think my paper wasn't quite big enough, but we're making it work. And you could definitely pop any of these pieces up. Like this panel you could have, this panel you could have if you wanted to. This panel you definitely could have. And I'm just going to put this one down on the bottom here. Kind of centering it. I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to take just my cloth and kind of buff off. I needed it to dry a little bit better before I actually wiped over it. So just hitting it with my cloth to kind of buff off the anti-static powder. And then this one can go here or there. I don't know. I think I'm going to put the Dig You on there. And because I'm feeling lazy, I'm just going to grab a stamping block. And do I want to do it in brown or do I want to do it in black? We'll do it in black. I think it'll stick out a little bit better. And I just want to get the Dig You. I don't want the I just want to get the Dig You on it. And then we're just going to put that on our tab, kind of centering it there. Boop. I was going to say, did I get it? Sometimes I am too good and put glue way close to the edge. I think I can wiggle it under there a little bit. I think I like it there better. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here, and I'm going to kind of wiggle that under my already glued down piece. You could definitely trim it if you wanted to trim it. I don't want it. Well, maybe we can overlap it. I'm going to say it kind of like goes perfectly with that one, but let's try to push it under a little bit. Then I'm just going to bring in my scoring tool or my bone folder and just kind of push that back down on top of it, since I had to peel it up a little bit. Do I need embellishments on this one? What do I even put for embellishments on this one? I have these that I poured with resin, which would maybe be kind of cute. We'll do those. They do make some metal style ones. I think Tim Holtz has them. I have some somewhere. They're here somewhere. But I mean, what a better time to use the ones that I made myself. I think we're just going to do those three. I should make some more. Just a little gray, positive and negative and a positive. We could put them there. We do 2 and go there, or we can go 3 there. I like both options, to be honest. Oh, decisions. We'll go here. That was my initial thought, so I think we'll just go with it. I'm just using the glitter art glue. It should stick these down fine. It should also work well for metal embellishments. The other option would be Ranger's collage medium. Will stick metal things down to your paper as well. Maybe. I'm just, you know, turning them so they line up or don't line up. Anyways, there's our card today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I did a similar one with my niece in pinks the other day. So the one that we made the other day, very much the similar. We did bring in the Can You Dig It from, I think it's the mouse one. Is it the garden mice? I don't remember what that one's called off the top of my head from LawnFawn, but we brought in the little stick and put it in the dirt pile and did the Can You Dig It. Anyways, and this one we did like little girly, you know, so it's definitely boy, girl, right? So, and then we did this is just a rub-on, so we didn't actually have to do any of the other stuff, but same design, same layout, almost identical on that one, but you see the distressed one, you see the not distressed one, and of course you see this one is definitely more boy themed, but this one is definitely more Valentine-y girl themed. And then this one on the inside, I like you a whole lot, and in true Jaime fashion when it comes to all the things, we made it all the things. So we did, it was my first go at this one, and it was her first go, of course, and so we did figure it out. It was kind of a fun one to play with. I can't say that we managed it perfectly, but it definitely still kind of turned out. I did back-to-back moles on this one because they were kind of like sticking up, but ultimately popping up to say, I totally dig you. And then of course, you know, we had the extra mole on the bottom. So this one was fun. I want to say the interactive is a Karen Burnside or Steen. I can't say it off the top of my head. I have to look at it to say it, but it's like her mini one. It's not the big one, it's the one that has like the flying hearts. And so I don't know if we exactly got it right, but it was definitely, I don't think mine's glued in there quite right. Anyways, it was fun. But so those are similar but very different. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have an amazing rest of your day. Keep getting inky, and we'll see you next time. Bye.